Hello everyone. Today I will explain 5 technical questions from the CCNA exam. Let's look at the first question. The first question asks about the destination address of a data packet. The destination address of the packet is 10.1, 1.22. Which of the following static routes will the router choose to forward the packet? Now, let's look at the first option. Option A. The destination address in option A is 1. 1 would include if it's a 24-bit mask would include this address. But now, the subnet mask here is 240. What does 240 represent? That's a 28-bit mask. With a 28-bit mask, this network 1, its address range is from 0 to 16. Within 0 to 16, there are 14 hosts, meaning only 14 usable addresses which are from 1 to 14. And this does not include 22, right? From 1 to 14 does not include 22, so option A is incorrect. So what about option B? Option B uses a 30-bit mask. With a 30-bit mask, its network address is 1.2. If the network address is 1.2, then the available hosts in this network, the address range is from 20 to 23. So there are 4 addresses available. Out of these 4 addresses, 2 are usable, which are 21 and 22. Therefore, 21 and 22 include 1.22. So this option is correct. Now, let's look at where the last 2 options are wrong. The next option also uses a 30-bit mask, and the usable host addresses included in this are 17 and 18, which do not match 22, so this option is incorrect. Now, what about option D? Option D is 254. 254 uses a 31-bit mask, and with 31 bits, there are only 2 addresses. One is the broadcast address, and the other is the network address. So this option is incorrect. Then the correct answer is B. Let's look at the correct answer. Now choose B. Alright, question 2. The second question is again about subnetting. It's another subnetting question. Then it says to look at this diagram. In the diagram, there are 3 routes. One is Cisco's EIGRP, another is RIP, and the third is OSPF. The question is, how do we manage the forwarding of traffic to 12.16? In other words, which of these 3 routes will the traffic destined for 12.16 match? First of all, the EIGRP route has a 24-bit subnet mask, so it can definitely match this route. Now, based on the routing selection principle, all these routes are already in the routing table. They've already been added to the table. So according to the routing selection principle, according to the longest prefix match principle, let's see if there are any routes with a longer prefix than this one. Here, there's a RIP route that's longer, right? It's longer. This one is 27 bits. The 27-bit address here covers the range from 0 to 50. Let's take a look. This 28-bit route is from 0 to 15. The 28-bit one is from 0 to 15. So this one doesn't match it. Doesn't match. If it doesn't match, then while we're eliminating this option, at the same time by eliminating option C, the statement that these 3 routes would form load balancing is also incorrect, right? Because the OSPF routes don't match, so the EIGRP route matches. Now, for the one with a 27-bit mask, let's look at the 27 bits from 0 to 31. From 0 to 31, it can match this route, right? As for the RIB route, its 27-bit mask is longer than the EIGRP mask. So we choose the one with the 27 bits, right? This is the longest prefix match principle. So the correct answer is D, and this rules out option A. Alright, choose D. Let's check the correct answer is D. Okay, let's look at question 3. The third question asks, what do our engineers need to configure two of? That is, floating static routes. This is a multiple choice question. It asks, what is the reason we need to configure two floating static routes? The correct answer is this one, option A, is indeed the correct answer here. The reason we configure floating static routes is that when the dynamic routing protocol fails, the static route will then be activated, right? This option is correct. And there's another correct option, which is option C. It says that when the primary route fails, we will use the other one. Because floating static routes involve two routes, for example. You write 0, 0, and its mask is also 0, 0. Then the next one is 12.1, 1.2, and for the second route, the beginning is the same, but the end is 13.1, 1.3. For these two routes, you set a different administrative distance at the end, right? So this one is the primary, this one is the main, this one is active, and the other one is the backup or standby, right? When the primary route fails, the backup route is activated. So the correct answers are A and C. Let's check the correct answers, A and C. All right, question 4. For question 4, it involves subnetting. Again, the topic gives us 4 different routing protocols to choose from. That is, when this router needs to send data to 192.168, 10.16, which route will it choose? All these routes are already in the routing table. They've all been added to the routing table. Because we can see here, show IP route, right? So when we choose this route, this question is actually a giveaway. That's because if you look at this question, all their network numbers are the same, 10, right? The only difference is the subnet mask length. So according to the routing selection principle, we use the longest prefix match rule. So you just need to calculate which one is the longest and see if this longest route includes 10.16. The longest one is 27 bits. For 27-bit subnet, the range is from 0 to 31, and the usable addresses are from 1 to 30, which includes 16. So the correct answer is to choose this one, the route selected by RIP, which is option B. Let's check the correct answer. Okay, it's B. Alright, let's look at question 5. Question 5 actually involves routing tables and related concepts again. For question 5, it asks us to refer to the diagram. It says that the router learns 5 routes from different routing sources. That is, different routing information sources learned through these protocols, and among them, 2 routes will be added to the table. We're supposed to select 2 answers. No, you need to select 2 answers. But actually, there are 3 correct answers to this question, yet it only lets us pick 2. Also, there's an issue with this part of the question. Bank, there's an alternative answer option here, an alternative option. The formatting here is problematic. This option should actually be in this position. So let's go through these options one by one. Let's go through and analyze these routes. First, among the routes A, C, and DA is the ETHI's route. Well, these 3 routes are exactly the same. That is, you have this 30 route learned via EIBGP, then there's a 30 route learned via RIP, and another 30 route learned via OSPF. The 3 of them need to be compared. Then, the priority of RIP's administrative distance, AD, is 110. Wait, that's not right. OSPF is 110. And the administrative distance for RIP is 120. As for IBGP, we know that the administrative distance for internal BGP is 200. And if it's eBGP, then it's 20, right? Here it says IBGP, so our administrative distance is 200. That means this route gets eliminated, this one gets eliminated, and this one gets eliminated as well. Then the OSPF route can be added to the routing table. So actually, the remaining 3 routes can all be added to the table. Because if you look, their subnet masks are different, and the mask lengths are different, so they belong to different routes. However, the key point is that this question only asks us to select 2. Since we need to pick 2, let's eliminate this OSPF route, the one with the 16 mask, because its mask is too long, right? Then, after eliminating the incorrect option, we simply choose the 2 remaining choices, which are the correct answers in this case. Therefore, we confidently select options A and D as our final answers, since they best fit the criteria given in the question. Let's check, shall we? Choosing A and D is the correct answer, right? But the thing is, there's a mistake written here afterwards. The alternative option is incorrect. And then below, if you really have to pick 3, then option C would be correct. I just wanted to point out that these have different mask lengths. Routes with different mask lengths will all be added to the routing table, right? They are considered different routes. Alright, submit. If anyone wants to learn Cisco technologies or get access to Cisco question banks, please send me a private message, or you can also leave a comment below the video for technical discussions.